Yep, if you click this video because you're wondering what altitude in Cusco, Peru really feels like and what happens once you arrive, you've come to the right place. We arrived in Cusco a few days ago at 11,000 plus feet, and even though we've been at high altitude before, for some reason this one is hitting a little bit harder. We're talking fuzzy brain, pretty decent headaches, restless legs at night, not being able to sleep well, and even dun, 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 intestinal distress. So today we're sharing with you what surprised us, what's helping, what's not helping, and the things that we wish we would have known before we got here. On top of that, one of the things that surprised us most is how much more difficult daily life becomes because of the high altitude. Carrying your groceries home from the grocery store, walking up hills, visiting ruins, your legs just start to go on strike. Your lungs feel like they're seizing up, and you get a headache that you just can't shake. All right, let's dive in so your trip to Cusco, Peru doesn't get ambushed like ours did. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Cusco sits at 11,152 feet above sea level. That means the air is pretty thin up here. And next month we're going to La Paz, where the altitude is 11,900 feet above sea level. At these altitudes, your lungs are definitely going on strike and your legs are trying to negotiate a better deal. And I'm here to tell you, even if you exercise, even if you're in great shape, even if you hike, altitude is the great equalizer. Your body just is not getting the oxygen that it's used to. This means your lungs, your muscles, and your blood is fighting for more oxygen. And this will lead to fatigue and all of the symptoms that I'm going to talk about. So what is this thing called altitude sickness, and what are the symptoms, and what might you feel? Altitude sickness may or may not hit you, and you may get some of these symptoms, all of them, and they may last for a day or two or up to a week. The first symptom that we noticed right away was fuzzy brain. You just can't quite get your thoughts together. You might not finish your sentence because you lose your train of thought. And of course, we were coming off of a 27-hour journey from Minneapolis to Cusco, which may have added to the fuzzy brain. Next, and I think the most common symptom, is headache. This can last for a day or two or three. And in my case, I felt a lot of pressure in my eyes. I just wanted to keep my eyes closed, and I kind of felt like my eyes hurt and it radiated into my head. So having headaches is a very common symptom. Next comes the really fun one of restless legs. This is when your legs are jumpy. The muscles are begging for more oxygen, and you twitch and you kick, and it adds to the difficulty of sleeping, which is a symptom in and of itself. Restless legs can happen during the day, but it seems like they go absolutely nuts at night when you're trying to sleep. Poor sleep is another one of the symptoms. Of course, your legs are kicking and twitching and thinking that you're running a 5K and you just want to sleep. Also, you tend to sleep a lot lighter and just don't feel as rested as you do at sea level. Next on the list is intestinal distress. This doesn't get a lot of airtime, and we can probably figure out why, but it is a common symptom and it does happen, and it can hit pretty hard. Oftentimes in cities around Latin America, there isn't easy access to public bathrooms out and about. So this is one of those things you want to monitor and make sure you're close to a bathroom. And last, or almost last on the list, comes general fatigue. This is the one that we all expect. You're kind of breathless, you're breathing heavy after doing simple tasks. Going to the grocery store and bringing your groceries home feels like you're carrying boulders, and any sort of climbing uphill takes a lot longer than you think and is harder than it would be at sea level. So take it easy, be gentle on yourself, and know that this is probably going to happen. And the very last item to talk about is the intensity of the sun. And while this is not altitude sickness, it's something that you should really be aware of. I was aware of this, but foolishly decided that I did not want to pack sunscreen because I didn't want the weight. And we decided to go on a half-day tour starting early in the morning. And by noon, I was burnt to a crisp. And now it's peeling and flaking, and I feel like a reptile. Of course, this is very unhealthy and not good for you. So be aware that the intensity of the sun is much stronger at altitude. Take necessary precautions, sunscreen, hat, umbrella, whatever you can do to protect your skin. Okay, so what are your options? How can you get in front of this? How can you minimize the symptoms? What's a person to do when they know that they're going to be high in the altitude and they don't want to lose time feeling sick? Well, there are some medical prescription solutions, and then there are some more symptom-oriented solutions. And I'm not a doctor and I cannot offer any medical advice, so please be sure and talk about this with your doctor. One of the choices that you may want to consider is talking to your doctor, and he or she may prescribe Diamox. This is also known as acetylzolamide. We all know that, right? This is a prescription medicine. I believe it's actually a heart medicine, also used for altitude, and it can reduce the toll that the altitude takes on your body, and you can start taking it before you arrive, so you kind of get ahead of the game. It's up to you, and definitely talk to your healthcare professional about your concerns and if this is a good idea for your particular situation. Some possible side effects of Diamox are tingling extremities, and your food, especially carbonated beverages, tasting really off, your taste isn't accurate, and needing to go to the bathroom more frequently. We chose not to go this route, but it is an option. Once you arrive in Cusco, there are, I don't know, maybe 5 pharmacies on every block. You won't have any trouble finding a pharmacy. There are over-the-counter pills that can help. This isn't going to address the root cause, but it will help relieve the symptoms. When you go to the pharmacy and you tell them that you're feeling altitude sickness, they're very well aware of this happening, and they will be prepared. One of the pharmacies that we went to gave us an option of 2 medications, and one was an herbal remedy, and the other kind of surprised me in a way. It was definitely the prescription for Diamox, because right on the box you could see that the medicine was called acetylzolamide. So it looks like we could have purchased Diamox here, but I'm not going to promote that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We chose not to do that. I personally thought that maybe the herbal remedy wasn't going to quite give me what I needed in the time frame that I was hoping for. We went to another pharmacy, and I told them that I was looking for over-the-counter medication for sorocho, altitude sickness. And I knew that I wanted something that contained an analgesic, caffeine, and an anti-inflammatory. And we talked to the pharmacist, and what he gave us was over-the-counter medication for migraines. And this worked very well. All right, now let's go over natural remedies and best practices. Number 1 that you will see everywhere, in every restaurant, in almost every hotel, I'm guessing, is Coca tea. Coca tea is a natural remedy that is a very slight stimulant, and it also helps you hydrate. And if you're wondering, no, Coca tea doesn't get you high. It's very traditional, common tea that's everywhere here in the Andes, Peru, Bolivia. But also don't take it back to the United States because that will get you in big trouble. Next on the list is muña tea. Muña tea helps with digestion and breathing. Again, it's another natural product and very easily consumed in the form of tea. Another best practice is eating light. Don't go for anything greasy, heavy, or large portions. Try and keep it to smaller portions, vegetables, soup, something like that where you're not weighted down and your gut doesn't have to work so hard on digesting your food. Next up, hydration. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, more than you think. And the one caveat is don't chug it. Don't drink large quantities in this short period of time. Try to drink constantly, sipping throughout the day. This will help your body get hydrated, but not give it that shock. And this is complete common sense, but take it easy and go slow. Don't plan on going crazy the first day or two with strenuous hikes and tours. There are tons and tons of things to do right here in Cusco. You can visit Coricancha, you can go to the Choco Museum and see how chocolate is made. You can go on walking tours that are slow and easy. These are all great options that you're still getting to see and enjoy Cusco, but you're not doing strenuous exercise. And if you're interested in any of the tours or the ideas that I mentioned, just check out the description below. I have some links to great tours. All right, now let's talk about frequently asked questions, but be sure to stick around to the end because I have a surprise remedy for you that I haven't seen anybody talk about. I didn't know about before we arrived here, and I got some insider tips from a local. How long does altitude sickness last? Of course, it depends on the person, but usually 1 to 3 days and can be as much as 5 days. Does everybody get it? No, not everybody. It hits some people hard and some people feel nothing at all. But fitness or being slender does not predict how you will react. Should I take Diamox? Again, I definitely am not offering medical advice. Be sure and talk to your doctor. It may be an option for you, and it is something that you can take ahead of time. So perhaps you can hit the ground running a little faster than if you didn't. But there are local ways to remediate the symptoms. Is Coca tea safe? Yes. Common, traditional, mild, helps alleviate symptoms, but is not a miracle cure. Remember, it is not legal to take back to the US. There are also Coca candies which you can suck on. I don't know the status of those as far as taking back to the United States. I guess I personally wouldn't risk it. Why is sleeping so weird and so difficult at altitude? Lower oxygen means that your breathing becomes irregular at night, which wakes you up. Restless, jumpy legs are very common, as is sleeping very lightly. Annoying? You bet. Dangerous? Not usually. And now for the bonus material that I promised you. Yesterday we popped into a little neighborhood store for water and snacks. And I love to look around and see what kind of products are being offered. And I noticed this little bottle. It looks like it's like an airplane liquor bottle. And so I asked the shopkeeper, is that alcohol? And he said, no, but let me tell you about that. He said it's called Agua de Florida. And I'll open this up and show you what he showed us. Open the bottle for the first time. He had a sample there, which we were able to try out. So he told us to put a couple of drops in the palm of our hand, and then you rub it together, kind of get it warmed up. I can smell it already. And then you put it over your face and breathe deeply. It smells kind of clovey, and the best comparison that I can make is kind of like eucalyptus oil or mentholatum in Vicks. It helps open your passageways and kind of opens up your lungs, clears your nose, and helps you breathe better. We tried it just like I did just now, and yeah, it's not a magic bullet, but it definitely feels like your sinuses and your nasal passages open up, and it's a very pleasant smell. This is the kind of small local remedy that you just don't see everywhere online. And it really helps when you're a slow traveler. You build up relationships with little shopkeepers and you talk to them about what's going on in your life and what you're doing. And they're very kind and generous, offering suggestions if they think you're open to it. I thought that this was just very interesting and a super tip, and I just had to share it. Altitude affects everyone differently. Some of us get hit pretty hard while some people don't suffer any effects at all. You just never know. But if you know what to expect and have some remedies and some information at hand, it can take a lot of the stress out of it. If you're heading to Cusco or somewhere even higher like La Paz, I hope this helped you feel more prepared. And if you've experienced altitude sickness before, are these the same symptoms that you've experienced, or what on the list surprised you the most? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I just want to say thanks for watching. We're so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.